The peseta was the currency of Spain between 1869 and 2002. Along with the French franc, it was also a de facto currency used in Andorra. Etymology. The name of the currency comes from peseta, the diminutive form of the word peca, which is a Catalan word that means piece of fraction. The first non-official coins which contained the word peseta were made in 1808 in Barcelona. Symbol. Traditionally, there was never a single symbol, a special character for the Spanish peseta. Common abbreviations were PT, PTA, PTS, and PTAs, and even using superior letters, PTAs. Common earlier Spanish models of mechanical typewriters had the expression PTS on a single type head, as a shorthand intended to fill a single type space in tables instead of three. Later, Spanish models of IBM electric typewriters also included the same type in its repertoire. When the first IBM PC was designed circa 1980, it included a peseta symbol, PTS, in the ROM of the monochrome display adapter and color graphics adapter video output cards hardware, with the code number 158. This original character set chart later became the MS-DOS code page 437. Some spreadsheet software for PC under MS-DOS, as Lotus 1, 2, 3, employed this character as the peseta symbol in the Spanish editions. Subsequent international MS-DOS code pages, like code page 850 and others, deprecated this character in favor of some other national characters. So the peseta symbol life was brief. In order to guarantee the interchange with previous encodings, the International Standard Unicode includes this character as U+20A7 peseta sign in its currency symbols block. Other than that, the use of the peseta symbol standalone is extremely rare, and has been outdated since the adoption of the euro in Spain. In the version 1.0 of Unicode, the character U+20A7 peseta sign had two reference glyphs, a PTS ligature glyph as in IBM code page 437 and an erroneous P with stroke. In Unicode 2.0, the reference glyph P with stroke was erroneously displayed as the only symbol for peseta and was later corrected to the PTS ligature, and a separate character code was added for the peso sign. Subdivision. The peseta was subdivided into 100 centimos, or informally, 4 reals. The last coin of any value under 1 peseta was a 50 centimo coin issued in 1980 to celebrate Spain's hosting of the 1982 FIFA World Cup. The last 25 centimo coin was dated 1959, the 10 centimos also dated 1959. Both coins bore the portrait of Franco. The 1 centimo coin was last minted in 1913 and featured King Alfonso XIII. The 1/2 centimo coin was last minted in 1868 and featured Queen Isabel II. History. The peseta was introduced in 1869 after Spain joined the Latin Monetary Union in 1868. The Spanish law of June 26, 1864 decreed that in preparation for joining the Latin Monetary Union, the peseta became a subdivision of the peso with 1 peso euro equals 5 pesetas. The peseta replaced the escudo at a rate of 5 pesetas equals 1 peso euro equals 2 escudos. The peseta was equal to 4.5 grams of silver, or 0.290322 grams of gold, the standard used by all the currencies of the Latin Monetary Union. From 1873, only the gold standard applied. The political turbulence of the early 20th century caused the monetary union to break up, although it was not until 1927 that it officially ended. In 1959, Spain became part of the Bretton Woods system, pegging the peseta at a value of 60 pesetas equals 1 U. dollar. In 1967, the peseta followed the devaluation of the British pound, maintaining the exchange rate of 168 pesetas equals £1 and establishing a new rate of 70 pesetas equals $1 dollar. The peseta was replaced by the euro in 2002, following the establishment of the euro in 1999. The exchange rate was €1 equals 166.386 pesetas. Coins. Note, from 1868 to 1982, a unique dating system for Spanish coins was employed. This would be adopted and sometimes abandoned intermittently during various times, and continued through to be used through the first years of the Juan Carlos I reign. Although a common authorization date will be found on virtually all coins of this period on the obverse of each coin, the actual date for many coins can be found inside a small six-pointed star, typically on the reverse of each coin, but sometimes the front. Therefore, the obverse date does not always reflect the actual date of mintage but rather a restriking off of older obverse coin die designs. So, if the coin date shows 1959 up front but a tiny 64 is depicted in the six-pointed star on the back, then the actual date of issue is in fact 1964 rather than the date depicted in front. This dating system would be abandoned in the early 1980s, anticipating a one-by-one redesign of each coin denomination. Decimal coinage of the monarchy. No coins were issued by the short-lived First Republic. In 1869 and 1870, coins were introduced in denominations of 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 and 50 centimos, and 1, 2 and 5 pesetas. The lowest four denominations were struck in copper, with the 20, 50 centimos, 1 and 2 pesetas struck in 835 silver and the 5 pesetas struck in 900 silver. 5 and 10 centimos coins were quickly nicknamed as Pera Chica and Pera Gorda respectively, as people then were unable to recognize the shape of the lion in them, mistaking it for a dog. The 5 peseta coin was nicknamed Duro. 5 peseta coins were called Duros by every generation until the withdrawal of the peseta in 2002, and Spaniards would often informally account in that unit. Gold 25 peseta coins were introduced in 1876, followed by 10 pesetas in 1878. In 1889, 20 peseta coins were introduced, with production of the 25 pesetas ceasing. In 1897, a single issue of gold 100 pesetas was made. Production of gold coins ceased in 1904, followed by that of silver coins in 1910. The last bronze coins were issued in 1912. Starting in 1906, a new series of 1 and 2 centimo coins were issued in bronze. Due to a number of economic issues, these were the only two coins from this series. Coin production resumed in 1925 with the introduction of copro-nickel 25 centimos. In 1926, a final issue of silver 50 centimos was made, followed by the introduction of a whole version of the 25 centimos in 1927. The Second Republic and Civil War period. In 1934, the Second Spanish Republic issued its first coins in the denomination of 25 and 50 centimos and 1 peseta. The 25 centimos and silver 1 peseta were the same size and composition as the earlier royal issues, whilst the 50 centimos was struck in copper. In 1937, a 5 centimo coin was struck in iron and a new 1 peseta in brass. brass. An iron 10 centimo coin was also produced in 1938 but never issued into circulation. Unknown whether due to its close resemblance to the 5 centimos or because the government of issue fell before it could be released. All of these replaced symbols and images related to the monarchy. The brass 1 peseta was sometimes nicknamed La Rubia as it issued a woman's face in a golden-colored alloy. Coins of the Nationalist state and World War II periods. The Nationalists issued the first official coins in 1937. These were whole 25 centimos featuring a rising sun and a clutch of arrows. These coins were minted in Vienna. A smaller copper 25 centimos followed in 1938. Following the end of the Civil War in 1939, the victorious nationalist government introduced aluminium 5 and 10 centimos in 1940 featuring a conquistador, followed by reduced-size aluminium bronze 1 peseta coins in 1944 featuring the state crest and national symbols. During the Civil War, a number of local coinages were also issued by both Republican and nationalist forces. In 1936, the following pieces were issued by the nationalists. The following issues were made by Republican forces in 1937, post-war era coinage. The first 1 peseta coins bearing the portrait of Francisco Franco were issued in 1947. Copro-nickel 5 pesetas followed in 1949. In 1949, old copro-nickel 50 centimos were introduced, followed by aluminium bronze 2.5 pesetas in 1954, copro-nickel 25 and 50 pesetas in 1958 and smaller aluminium 10 and 25 centimos in 1959. Silver 100 pesetas were issued between 1966 and 1969, with aluminium 50 centimos introduced in 1967. In 1966, Franco's profile was redesigned to depict a more current representation of the leader. Following the accession of King Juan Carlos, there were a few changes. The replacement of Franco's portrait with that of Juan Carlos on the 50 centimos and 1 peseta in 1975, and the addition of a copro-nickel 100 pesetas. In 1976, 10 centimos were discontinued. However, more significant changes occurred to each coin in 1982. Following this redesign, the 50 centimos was discontinued, with aluminium replacing aluminum bronze in the 1 peseta. A 2 pesetas coin was also introduced featuring a map of Spain, though this denomination never became popular. More importantly, nickel brass 100 pesetas were introduced. The redesign centered around the 1982 World Cup and depicted football-related themes on the 1, 5, 25, 50, and 100 pesetas. Shortly afterwards, the large copro-nickel 100 pesetas by a smaller aluminum bronze coin, which also replaced the 100 pesetas banknote. Copro-nickel 10 pesetas was introduced in 1983, a denomination that had previously not been issued for many decades. This preceded a wholesale redesign in all circulating Spanish coins and abandonment of the star dating system. Copro-nickel 200 pesetas were introduced in 1986, followed by aluminium bronze 500 pesetas in 1987. In 1989, the biggest changes came. The size of the 1 peseta coin was significantly reduced, however not discontinued. The 2 peseta coin was discontinued. Small aluminum bronze 5 pesetas were introduced, and reduced aluminium bronze 25 pesetas were also introduced, which had a hole in the center. Smaller 50 peseta coins were also issued the same year in in copper-nickel with the distinct Spanish flower shape that would eventually be used by many countries, most notably the 20-cent coin of the euro. At the same time, the 200 peseta coin was made larger and included an identifiable edge with incus lettering. In 1999, a laser-etched hologram was added to the 500 peseta coin as a security feature to help discourage counterfeiting. During this period, all coins except the 1 and 500 pesetas went through a commemorative redesign each year in a similar vein to the U.S. state commemorative quarters program until their discontinuation in 2001, preceding the introduction of the euro common currency. Until the 19th of June 2001, the following coins were minted by the Spanish Fábrica Nacional de Moneda y Timber. The 50 peseta coins issued between 1990 and 2000 were the first that featured the Spanish flower shape. Spanish euro coins, like all member nations, these coins come in denominations of 1, 2, and 5 cents in copper-plated brass, 10, 20, and 50 cents in Nordic gold, and bimetallic 1 and 2 euros with a common reverse design. The obverse of the first three denominations feature Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela. The 10, 20, and 50 cents depict Spanish poet-writer Miguel de Cervantes, and the 1 and 2 euros depict the effigy of King Juan Carlos I to King Felipe VI. Andorran peseta. The Andorran peseta was pegged at 1:1 to the Spanish peseta. Following the outbreak of the Spanish Civil War on 17 July 1936, the Consul General de les Valls d'Andorra issued Decree No. 112 of 19 December 1936, authorizing the issuance of paper money backed by Spanish banknotes. Replacement by the euro. The peseta was replaced by the euro in 1999 on currency exchange boards. Euro coins and notes were introduced in January 2002, and on the 1st of March 2002 the peseta lost its legal tender status in Spain, and also in Andorra. The conversion rate was €1 equals 166.386, especially peseta notes issued since 1939 and coins that were legal tender on 31 December 2001 remain exchangeable at any branch of the Spanish Central Bank until 31 December 2020. According to that entity, as of March 2011, pesetas to a value estimated at €1.7 billion had not been converted to euro. Huge amounts of pesetas of dubious provenance believed to have helped to fuel a cash-based money laundering real estate boom just prior to and after the conversion to the euro. Mafia and criminal holdings of billions of pesetas were poured into massive real estate projects in Spain and elsewhere. The real estate could then be legally sold to obtained euros. Bibliography.